Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtaki. So, continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, 11th chapter, Lord Krishna's entrance into Dwarka, text number 35 onwards. Sa esh narloke asmin avatirna swamayaya reme sri ratna kutastho bhagwan prakrito yatha.
कौन सा इन्होंने पढ़ा है?
Text 35. Text 35 we are starting.
Thank you, Prabhuji. You can hear
Haribo.
me.
I'm just
Hare
gonna
Krishna.
mute. I'm gonna mute you. That Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna, out of his causeless mercy, appeared on this planet by his internal potency and enjoyed himself amongst competent women as if he were engaging in mundane affairs. So, looking at the activities of Krishna with the queens of Dwarka, it sounded like very mundane affair, just like any husband comes home after a long distance away and long time away, and how the women approach him and react. But he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is what Sud Goswami is clarifying here. He appears by his internal potency. Internal potency means the Yoga Maya. He appears by that. He does not appear under external potency. So this is all his Leela. These are not his karmas. These are all his Leelas that he wanted to enjoy with these devotees in Dwarka. The Lord married and lived like a householder. This is certainly like a mundane affair. But when we learned that he married 16,108 wives and lived with them separately in each and every palace, certainly it's not mundane. Therefore, the Lord, living as a householder amongst his competent wives, is never mundane, and his behavior with them is never to be understood as mundane sex relation. The women who became the wives of the Lord are certainly not ordinary women, because to get the Lord as one's husband is a result of many, many millions of births, tapasya. So to get the Lord as one's husband, it's not just a thing of joke. It needs many, many millions of births, tapasya. And that too, then Krishna is merciful on upon somebody, then he accepts that lady as his wife. When the Lord appears on different lokas of planets or on this planet of human beings, he displays his transcendental pastimes just to attract the conditioned souls to become his eternal servitors, friends, parents, and lovers, respectively, in the transcendental world, where the Lord eternally reciprocates such exchanges of service. So he displays his transcendental pastimes just to attract the conditioned souls to become his eternal servitors, friends, parents, and lovers. So obviously, these queens of Dwarka, they were not conditioned souls like us. They are eternal wives of Krishna. But these pastimes of Krishna, different pastimes in Vrindavan, in Mathura, in Dwarka, these are done, of course, to give pleasure to his devotees that he is performing the pastimes with, and also at the same time to attract the conditioned souls like us. In whatever mood we are with Krishna, if we want to have this relationship with Krishna in the Dwarka mode as his wife, then we develop on that mode looking at the or following the guidelines of these queens of Dwarka. It's everybody has a different mood, different relationship with Krishna. So we can develop that. And it is said that once a conditioned soul is completely pure, just like somebody goes to medical school and he gets his degree in medical, but he or she, of course, he gets a degree of a doctor, MD or MBBS, but to practice on the real patients, he has to do 1 or 2 years of internship, whatever the time required is. So even when the conditioned souls in any given universe, by performance of bhakti, they become perfect. They get the degree, they get the certificate. Okay, now you are a devotee. Now you are a PhD actually. So everybody gets a PhD in devotional service. Now everybody's looking at me. What is PhD in devotional service? So now we come to Vidur Samhita. So Vidur Samhita says PhD means pure-hearted devotee. So once he gets his PhD, so but then he has to do internship. He is not qualified yet. He got the theoretical knowledge, but he has to get the practical knowledge. So the Jiva, then from that universe where he got his PhD from, then he is transferred to that universe where Krishna's pastimes are going on. So in his pastimes, then this PhD, he serves an intern under the particular devotee, whichever mood he has or she has developed. Suppose somebody has developed Vatsalya mood, parental love for Krishna in Vrindavan. So that devotee will be entering that universe, particular universe where Krishna's pastimes are going on in Vrindavan or about to start, whatever. And then he or she will become an associate of Nanda Baba or Yashoda Maya or one of the Gopas or Gopis in that mood. And then he will get training to serve Krishna in that mood. Of course, those Nand Baba, Yashoda Maya, or a Gopa or Gopi, this elder Gopa Gopi, they don't know this person has come as an intern. They will treat him as one of the associates of Krishna. But this is the arrangement of Yog Maya. Then this person gets his training, and then he is qualified to go back to the spiritual world. So only PhD is not enough. We have to go through internship also. So now Prabhupada is writing, service is pervertly represented in the material world and broken untimely, resulting in sad experience. The illusion living being, conditioned by material nature, cannot understand out of ignorance that all our relations here in the mundane world are temporary and full of inabilities, or full of um, lackness. There's something lacking always, or full of problems. Such relationships cannot help us be happy perpetually. But if the same relation is established with the Lord, then we are transferred to the transcendental world after leaving this material body and become eternally related with Him in the relation we desire. The women amongst whom he lived as a husband are not, therefore, women of this mundane world, but are eternally related with him as transcendental wives, a position which they attained by perfection of devotional service. That is their competency. So this is how it goes. So when Krishna accepts us as one of his internal associates, internal servants, internal in the inner group, then we can live with him eternally in the life of bliss and knowledge. And then Prabhupada talks about his being personal and impersonal. He is not impersonal because he is a leader and supreme being amongst innumerable living beings. He cannot be impersonal. He is exactly like us and he has all the propensities of an individual living being in fullness. He marries exactly like us, but his marriage is neither mundane nor limited by our experience in the conditioned state. His wives therefore appear like mundane women, but factually they're all transcendental liberated souls, perfect manifestations of internal energy. So this is the difference between Krishna's pastimes are and our doings, our activities here in the material world. Text 36. Uddam bhava pishu nama namalva valguhas prida valok nihato madano apiyasam sammuya chapam jahat pramadottamasta yastendriyam vimathitum kukair nashekuhu. Although the queen's beautiful smiles and furtive glances were all spotless and exciting, and although they could conquer Cupid himself by making him give up his bow in frustration, and even the tolerant Shiva could fall victim to them, still, despite all the magical feats and attractions, they could not agitate the senses of the Lord. That is Krishna. The path of salvation or the path going back to Godhead always forbids the association of women. Means this is for men, and for women it forbids the association of men because the sex attraction is very, very strong in this material world. And the complete Sanatan Dharma or Varnashram Dharma scheme forbids or restricts association with women. How then can one be accepted as a supreme personality of Godhead who is addicted to more than 16,000 wives? This question may be relevantly raised by inquisitive persons, really anxious to know about the transcendental nature of the Supreme Lord. It is clear herein that the feminine attractive features which can conquer Cupid or even the supermost tolerant Lord Shiva could not conquer the senses of the Lord. Cupid's business is to invoke mundane lust. The whole atmosphere is moving, being agitated by Cupid's arrow. Actually, it is said he has 5 arrows to agitate all our 5 senses. The activities of the world are being carried on by the central attraction of male and female. A male is searching after a mate to his liking, and the female is looking after a suitable male. That is a way of material stimulus. And as soon as a male is combined with the female, the material bondage of the living being is at once tightly interlocked by sex relation. And as a result of this, both the male and female's attraction for sweet home, motherland, bodily offspring, society, and friendship, and accumulation of wealth becomes an illusory field of activities. And thus, a false but indefatigable attraction for the temporary material existence, which is full of miseries, is manifest. So it starts with attraction between male and female. Then it goes on to sweet home, I need job, I need motherland, I need bodily offsprings, I need to have society, friendship, accumulation of wealth, so on and so forth. That's why it's called Griham Andhakupam. It's like a blind well. One who falls in there, he cannot get out. But the same society or same relationship can help us grow spiritually at the same time. It could be Grihastha ashram. It depends on us how we want to make it, what we want to make it. Cupid's influence is exerted even amongst the ugliest forms, and what to speak of the most perfect beauties. Lord Shiva, who is considered to be most tolerant, was also struck by Cupid's arrow, because he also became mad after the Mohini incarnation of the Lord, and acknowledged himself to be defeated. Cupid, however, was himself captivated by the grave and exciting dealings of the goddesses of fortune, and he voluntarily gave up his bow and arrow in a spirit of frustration. Such was the beauty and attraction of the queens of Lord Krishna. So another name of Krishna actually is Madan Mohan. Madan means Cupid. So he even attracts Madan or Cupid. That is Krishna. But then the name of Radharani is Madan Mohan Mohini. She even attracts Krishna, who has attracted Cupid. So Krishna, although living with 16,108 queens, he could not be attracted by their beauty. That is Krishna. Although they were so beautiful, they could attract even Lord Shiva, or they could attract even Cupid himself. So the queens could not satisfy the Lord by their feminine attractiveness, but they satisfied him by their sincere affection and service. Only by unalloyed, transcendental loving service could they satisfy the Lord. And the Lord was pleased to treat them as wives in reciprocation. Thus, being satisfied by their unalloyed service only, the Lord reciprocated the service just like a devout husband. Otherwise, he had no business becoming the husband of so many wives. So he reciprocates with the service. He does not reciprocate, or he does not get attracted by the outer beauty. He wants to see what's inside. He's a husband of everyone, but to one who accepts him as such, he reciprocates. This unalloyed affection for the Lord is never to be compared to mundane lust. It is purely transcendental, and the grave dealings which the queens displayed in natural feminine ways were also transcendental because the feelings were expressed out of transcendental ecstasy. So this is Krishna. He deals, he reciprocates with a service attitude. Text 37. Tamyam manyate loko hyasangam api sanginam atmopanyen manujam vyaprinvanam yato abudaha. The common materialistic conditioned souls speculate that the Lord is one of them. Out of their ignorance, they think that the Lord is affected by matter, although he is unattached. So Krishna is, as Prabhupada is writing in the middle of the purport, he is completely independent to act however he likes, but all his actions are full of bliss, knowledge, and eternity. Only the foolish mundaners misunderstand him, unaware of his eternal form of knowledge and bliss, which is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita and Upanishads. That's why Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita, Avajananti mam muda manushim tanum ashitam. Muda, the fools and rascals, they do not know me, especially when I appear in the form of a human being. When he descends on the material world by his causeless mercy to different living beings, he does so by his own potency. He is not subject to any condition of the material modes of nature, and he descends as he is originally. So this is what Krishna is. But the ordinary men, they cannot understand. So therefore, one who considers the Lord on the level of one's limited potency is only a common man. The mental speculators compare everything from the standpoint of experimental knowledge of their own selves. Thus, when the Lord is found to act like an ordinary person in matrimonial bondage, they consider him to be like one of them, without considering that the Lord can at once marry 16,000 wives or more. So they can't understand this part. But they still think, oh, he is like one of us. He just married so many wives, that's it, but he's like one of us. No, he's not. Due to a poor fund of knowledge, they accept one side of the picture while disbelieving the other. This means that due to ignorance only, they always think of Lord Krishna as like themselves and make their own conclusions, which are absurd and unauthentic. Text 38. एतदीशनम् ईशस्य प्रकृतिस्थोऽपि तद्गुणः न युज्यते सदात्मस्य यथा बुद्धिस्तदाश्रया. This is the divinity of the personality of Godhead. He is not affected by the qualities of material nature, even though he is in contact with them. Similarly, the devotees who have taken shelter of the Lord do not become influenced by the material qualities. So because the devotees also reach that spiritual platform. So, in the Vedas and Vedic literature, it is affirmed that in the divinity there is no influence of the material modes. He is simply the transcendental witness, the supreme cognizant. Hari, or the personality of Godhead, is a supreme transcendental person situated beyond the range of material affection. So, that is Krishna. These statements are also confirmed even by Acharya Shankaracharya. That he, Narayana Paro Avyakta, this is what Shankaracharya said. He is beyond whatever is manifested before us in the material world. So it's a long purport. I will not go through the whole thing. The devotees of the Lord are always transcendental, even if they are sometimes found to have fallen in their behavior. The Lord emphatically declares in Bhagavad Gita that even if an unalloyed devotee is found to be fallen due to a previous material contamination, he is nevertheless to be accepted as fully transcendental because of his being engaged 100% in the devotional service of the Lord. Of course, Prabhupada had different viewpoint. He said, you all are trying to be transcendental, or you're struggling on the transcendental plane. You're not transcendental yet. So we go with that. Those wordings of Prabhupada. We are struggling here. We are trying. So by mercy of Prabhupada, we can be elevated to that platform. So last shloka for today in that chapter. Tam me anireya bala mudastranam chanuvratam raha apramana vido bharto rishwaram matyo yatha. The simple and delicate women truly thought that Lord Shri Krishna, their beloved husband, followed them and was dominated by them. They were unaware of the extent of the glories of their husband, as the atheists are unaware of him as a supreme controller. So the ladies, the queens of Krishna in Dwarka, they were unaware of his potencies. Why? Because Krishna's Yog Maya works on his devotees. Because Krishna wants to enjoy this relationship with his devotees. So if they become aware of his being the supreme personality of Godhead, the relationship or the mellow or the mood will change. So he does not want that to change. So they are unaware. And the atheists are also unaware. Atheists are unaware because they are under Mahamaya. They're not under Yog Maya. They're under Mahamaya because they don't have faith, first of all. The devotees have full faith. They want to serve Krishna. But if that feeling of that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead comes in the way of their service, in the way of their mood, in the way of their emotions, expression of emotions towards Krishna, Krishna doesn't like that. So he removes that. He covers them. So the ladies thought he's just our husband. That's it. Even the transcendental wives of Lord Shri Krishna did not know completely the unfathomable glories of the Lord. This ignorance is not mundane because there is some action of the internal potency of the Lord in the exchange of feelings between him and his eternal associates. The Lord exchanges transcendental relations in 5 ways as proprietor, master, friend, son, and lover. And in each of these pastimes, he plays fully by the potency of Yog Maya, the internal potency. He plays exactly like a lover in the presence of the cowherd damsels, and he plays exactly like a husband in the presence of the queens of Dwarka. And not just plays, not just like he's acting, he is into that relationship. So he asks Yogmaya to cover himself also. So the ladies also get the same pleasure that he is having in that relationship. The wives of Lord Krishna were made to forget the immeasurable glories of the Lord by the internal potency, so that there might not be any flaw of exchange. And they took it for granted that the Lord was a hen-pecked husband. So even Krishna had to act like a hen-pecked husband. always following them in lonely places. In other words, even the personal associates of the Lord do not know him perfectly well. So, what do the thesis writers or mental speculators know about the transcendental glories of the Lord? So, we saw during Jagannath Rath Yatra also, Jagannath ji had to act like a hen-pecked husband of Lakshmi ji. And Lakshmi ji, when she closed the doors, he had to offer her rasgullas, he had to wear the Shonavesh, and then Lakshmi ji opened the doors, and then Jagannath ji could enter. This is because the loving relationship between Jagannath ji and Lakshmi. It's not because she is greater than him. No, it's because he loves his devotees, and he especially just like previously we read somewhere, no, Prabhupada wrote that Krishna loves chastisement by his devotees more than the prayers of Vedic Vedas, because there is some intimacy, there's some lots of sentiments involved in those chastisement. That's what he loves. And even though he is with 16,108 queens, and not only that, in Vrindavan, he had millions and millions of these girls who were his girlfriends, cowherd girls. But still, Krishna was considered as the biggest brahmachari, even by Bhishmadev. Bhishmadev in his stuti, he did say that you are, everybody understands I am a brahmachari, but you are a bigger brahmachari than I am. Although you were with all the gopis in Vrindavan. In fact, there is when we do parikrama of Vrindavan, not Govardhan, but Vrindavan parikrama, there is a place called Pani Ghat. It's right at Yamuna Ji. So Pani Ghat is a place um, where once Durvasa Muni had come, I think it is Durvasa, yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Durvasa Muni. And he was on the other side of Yamuna, and gopis were on this side. And they had found out that Durvasa Muni had come, and they wanted to take darshan, they wanted to give him yogurt and other items. There was no boat to cross the Yamuna with. So they asked Krishna, how can we go on the other side? So Krishna said, you go to Yamuna ji and pray to her. If Krishna is a Nashtik brahmachari, Nashtik means he never breaks his vow of brahmachari, then please give us a way to go to the other side. And when they prayed to Yamuna ji like that, Yamuna ji opened up. She gave all the gopis the way. The gopis were astonished. I mean, Krishna is always with us. How come he's a brahmachari? But anyway, they crossed over. They went to Durvasa Muni and they fed him. Now on the way back, again, Yamuna ji was flowing full, and they asked Durvasa Muni, now what to do? Durvasa Muni said, you pray to Yamuna ji that if Durvasa Muni hasn't eaten anything that we offered him, then please give us away. And all the gopis were surprised. We just fed you so much. All of us, we fed you. Do you think not eaten anything? Durvasa Muni just pray to Yamuna ji. So they came, they prayed to Yamuna ji, and Yamuna ji again opened up. They came back. And then they saw Krishna. They said, Krishna, we don't understand. What is this Leela going on? So this is what Krishna told them, that even though I am with you all, because this is my relationship, this is my reciprocation of love with you, because you serve me so well. But I'm not at all attached to any of you. So he is a brahmachari. But then they said, but we fed Durvasa Muni everything. How come he didn't eat anything? Krishna said, actually, he didn't eat anything because I was sitting in his heart and I was accepting all your offerings. So he didn't eat, I was eating everything. So that is Krishna. So to understand him, to serve him, to love him, It's a different matter altogether. So, but by mercy of Prabhupada, by mercy of Krishna, we should be making some progress on this. So, unless until, that's why somewhere it is written, unless until we understand Krishna is inconceivable, we cannot conceive of him. Krishna, Krishna's pastimes, Krishna's glories, Krishna's name, everything is inconceivable. But by the mercy of Prabhupada, we are getting a glimpse, a bit, very little tiny glimpse of what Krishna is like. So I'll stop here, see anybody has any question or comment.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Prabhu.
Prabhuji, this Cupid mentioned here. I thought it was just a kind of imaginary figure painted in the modern world on Valentine's Day only. Is it kind of, it's there in the kind of Bhagavatam as well?
Yeah,
So,
he is calm there. He is one of the demigods.
ah,
And he has wonderful service to perform.
acha. That's
Yeah.
amazing, Prabhuji. Revelation. Thank you, Prabhuji.
And he has his bow and arrow. Even in the Western culture, they show Cupid having bow and arrow. But that is true, actually. He has a bow and an arrow. And here it is said by his influence, even Lord Shiva got attracted by to Mohini incarnation. But another pastime is also there when Cupid was there hiding behind a tree or hiding on the branches of the tree, and he was uh, gonna shoot arrow at Shiva. Shivji was in deep meditation. Actually, it was Cupid was instigated by Indra himself to go and break Shiva's meditation. So Cupid tried to do that, and Shivji opened his third eye and he burnt Cupid down. But then all the demigods, Brahmaji went to Shivji. What did you do, Cupid? We need Cupid in the creation. Without him, nothing will work. So Shivji said, "Well, I have burnt him, so I cannot revive him, but I will give him an invisible body. So he will do the work, whatever you need him to do, but he will not get the body again." So that's why his another name is Ananga. Ananga means without any organs, so without any body. So now he doesn't have a body, but he still does his work. So and he's very, very powerful.
True, Prabhuji, and thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji,
Thank you
Hare
very
Krishna.
much, Prabhuji, for a beautiful class again.
Thank you, Prabhu. Yes, CP Singh Prabhu.
No, it's Vinay here, Prabhuji.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry. Yes, Prabhu.
Yesterday I went to ISKCON, Greater Kailash Temple, and just one observation. The devotees, there are two dresses they wear, either white kurta dhoti or orange kurta dhoti. So we had a bhajan very, yesterday me and my father, we sat on that bhajan. I think Bhajan Sandhya we sing, and it was awesome. Like we sat for an hour and we had that Hare Rama Hare Krishna bhajan there. So just to observe, there are two dresses they wear, white color and orange color. What's the difference between the two?
Actually, there is a third one also, yellow. So white is worn by people who are either grastas, who are married, or who want to get married. And then orange is worn by brahmacharis, who are initiated and who have taken a vow of brahmacharya. Of course, they can change it to white later on if they want to. There's no force. And then there is yellow. Yellow are the devotees who are just entering, and they're in the training of being a brahmachari. So they are not initiated yet, but they're getting trained up.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. Okay, so I guess we can stop here. You all have a wonderful day. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
जी, thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.